All right, guys. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast for February the 8th, 2021. Let me turn on some more lights. I'm kind of dark on the screen here. Give me a second. Yeah, I know I'm dark. I didn't know I was that dark. I know I was dark, but I know I was that dark. Oh my God! I know I was dark, but not that dark. Jeez, that was like midnight. That was like midnight. That was like midnight.
It seems to me a strange thing.
A very strange thing. You know? Very strange thing. So we're going to cover some general news, covering some various other news topics, guys. Remember, if you want to participate in the show, guys, you can dial in 803. No, actually, that's not the correct area code. I thought I was going to be giving you my one of my many numbers. I got like 3 different numbers now at this point. But number dialing is 253-203-6784. Once again, number dialing is 253-203-6784. If you would like to participate in the show, guys. All right. You can call in at any point and you can let me know what you think about the show, what you think about me. I have no problem, no issue with answering your questions, with answering your concerns, with just generally hearing what you have to say. Now, guys, let me know how this show should run. I'm going to cover general news. I think I'm going to split the show into 2 parts. At 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going to be doing a show where I just take a whole dump on police officers. And then at the same time, I'm going to turn around and then I'm going to do a show where I feature just the news. Because sometimes I just want to get the news. I don't want to hear necessarily pretty much anyone's opinion. So I think I'm going to give you a show just like that. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go into the live chat. We're going to give you guys some links to go and look at. So while you wait for me to get things set up on my end so we can get the show going. So, guys, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow. Visit my merch store. Consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Links are in the description. Alright, so remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, follow. Make sure when you subscribe on YouTube, you hit the notification bell as well. Because if not, you won't be notified of these streams. With that being said, guys, number dial in is 253-203-6784. If you want to participate in the show. Or you can join my Discord server. Alright? Join my Discord server. I'm going to give you a link to it right now. Alright. Let me pin this message. Alright, so here's a link to my Discord as well on Twitch. Remember to call in as well. By the way, I'm giving Twitch some love, guys. Thank you for supporting me on Twitch. Thank you for supporting me on YouTube. Thank you for supporting me on Facebook, on every platform out there. I appreciate what you guys do. I really do. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you bringing attention to my YouTube channel and you to my Twitch channel and to all my other channels. I want to appreciate what you guys do. I want to let you know that it is not lost on me. It's not lost on me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, right? You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to spend time with me, and I appreciate that now. And I want you to know how much I thank you. I want to ask, and I want to say, if you could, like, comment, share, subscribe. Right. So with that being said, we're gonna get into the news. We're gonna get into some of the interesting news of the week. Now, with that being said, guys, I want you to understand something, right? News of the week is going to be from various sources. It's not just going to be from sources that you like. It's going to be from things that a variety of news. It's not going to just be, things that you want to hear. There's going to be several stories that I'm going to put out that you're not going to like. I'm going to tell you that right now. Right? There's going to be some stories that you don't like. Right? But I want you to understand some of the stories that I'm going to be covering are going to be kind of intense. So that's why I say I'm not going to just spend most of my time shitting on cops the whole time. I am going to take some time to try to give you some more different content. So that's why I'm going to split the show up into two separate shows. Whereas I do one show where I shit on cops, and the other show is just going to be general news. So now let's get into the general news. All right. So let's go over to the live scene here. I like this one more, a lot more. All right, guys. Right now we are over at the New York Times. We're going to cover a few stories here. I don't like to open stories as I go along. So here's one that I've already opened. Its own domestic army, how the GOP allied itself with militants. All right. So we're going to go ahead and give you guys a link to this story. I'm going to post it in the YouTube chat and also in the Twitch chat. So let me go ahead and give Twitch some love first. So the Twitch chat, let me go over to the YouTube chat. It is in the YouTube chat and also in the Twitch chat right now, guys. Let's go ahead and go over this article real quick. It's from the New York Times. Its own domestic army, how the GOP allied itself with militants. Actions taken by paramilitary groups in Michigan last year, emboldened by President Trump, signaled a profound shift in Republican politics and a national crisis in the making. All right. Lansing, Michigan. Lansing, Michigan. Dozens of heavily armed militiamen crowded into the Michigan State House last April to protest a stay-at-home order by the Democratic governor to slow the pandemic. Chanting and stomping their feet, they halted legislative business, tried to force their way onto the floor, and brandished rifles from the gallery over lawmakers below. Initially, Republican leaders had some misgivings about their new allies. The optics weren't good. Next time, tell them not to bring guns, complained Mike Shirkley, the state Senate majority leader, according to one of the protest organizers. But Michigan's highest-ranking Republican came around after the planners threatened to return with weapons and militia guys signing autographs and passing out blow-up AR-15s to the kiddies on the Capitol lawn. To his credit, Jason Howland, the organizer, wrote in his social media post, Mr. Shirkey agreed to help the cause and spoke at our next event. Following signals from President Donald J. Trump, who had tweeted, "Liberate Michigan," after an earlier show of force in Lansing, Michigan's Republican Party last year welcomed the support of newly emboldened paramilitary groups and other vigilantes. Prominent party members formed bonds with militias or gave tacit approval to armed activists using intimidation in a series of rallies and confrontations around the state. That intrusion into the State House now looks like a portent of the assault halfway across the country months later at the United States Capitol. As the Senate on Tuesday begins the impeachment trial of Mr. Trump on charges of inciting the January 6th Capitol rioting, what happened in Michigan helps explain how, under his influence, party leaders aligned themselves with a culture of militancy to pursue political goals. Michigan has a long tradition of tolerating self-described private militias, which are unusually common in the state. But it is also a critical electoral battleground that draws close attention from top party leaders, and the Republican alliance with paramilitary groups shows how difficult it may be for the National Party to extricate itself from the shadow of the former president in his appeal to this aggressive segment of its base.
It seems to me a strange thing.
That's a strange thing, man. Very strange thing. We knew there would be violence, said Representative Elisa Slotkin, a Michigan Democrat, about the January 6th assault. Endorsing tactics like militiamen with assault rifles frightening state lawmakers normalizes violence, she told journalists last week. And Michigan, unfortunately, has seen quite a bit of that. 6 Trump supporters from Michigan have been arrested in connection with the storming of the Capitol. One, a former Marine accused of beating a Capitol police officer with a hockey stick, had previously joined armed militiamen in a protest organized by Michigan Republicans to try to disrupt ballot counting in Detroit. The chief organizer of that protest, Meshawn Maddock, on Saturday, was elected co-chair of the state Republican Party, one of 4 diehard Trump loyalists who won top posts. Ms. Maddox helped fill 19 buses to Washington for the January 6th rally and defended the April armed intrusion into the Michigan Capitol, when Representative Rashida Tlaib, a Michigan Democrat, suggested at the time that black demonstrators would never be allowed to threaten legislators like that. Ms. Maddox wrote on Twitter, "Please show us the threat." "Oh, that's right. You think anyone armed is threatening," she continued. "It's a right for a reason, and the reason is you." The lead organizer of the April 30 armed protests, Ryan Kelly, a local Republican official, last week announced a bid for governor. "Becoming too closely aligned with militias, is that a bad thing?" he said in an interview. Launder Gatt, a pro-Trump activist close to him, was named last month to a leadership position in a statewide Republican women's group. She welcomed militias and Proud Boys at protests, posting on social media site Parler, "While BLM destroys/murder people, the Proud Boys are true patriots."
It seems to me a strange thing.
That's bullshit. Stop lying.
That's bullshit. That's
bullshit. Stop lying.
Nigga, that's that bullshit.
That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit that I be talking about, man. That's that bullshit that I be talking about, man. That's
bullshit. Stop lying.
That's bullshit. Stop lying. Prosecutors have accused members of the Proud Boys of playing a leading role in the January 6th assault. 2 weeks after the State House protests, Mr. Shirky, the Republican leader, appeared at a rally by the same organizers on stage with a militia member who would later be accused of conspiring to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. "Stand up and test that assertion of authority by the government," Mr. Shirky told the militiamen. "We need you now more than ever." I don't think that we need, people who fuck their cousins. That's just...
It seems to me a strange
How is this guy in freaking office?
It seems to me a strange
How is this guy in fucking office? I mean, after what happened on January 6th, how is he still in office? Like that's my question. Why is it that when people like this pull shit like this, nothing happens? Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that when people like this pull the shit that they pull, the obvious bullshit, right? The obvious bullshit. Why is it that nothing happens to them? Nothing ever happens to them. Why is that? You don't find that odd? You don't find that strange? You're not going to ask any questions about that? Why is it that when these people get involved in all this nonsense, when they incite riots, why is it that politicians never go down for it? But why is it that whenever, right, whenever we discuss punishments for crimes and misdeeds, why is it that we never discuss politicians? It's so strange. It's so strange that we openly discuss this stuff. We know these people are guilty of these things. And yet, for some reason, nothing ever happens to them. Why is that? Do you not find that odd? I find it odd. I find it goddamn disgusting. I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's just ridiculous. A long history, a quarter century before the mob rampaged through the U.S. Capitol, a paramilitary leader from Michigan sat in the same building and delivered an early warning shot. Norman Olson, founder of the Michigan Militia, appeared in June 1995 before a Senate committee investigating the growth of the anti-government movement after the Oklahoma City bombing that April. Dressed in military fatigues, I should say, with a Commander Olson patch on his shirt, he spoke with contempt. "We stand against oppression and tyranny in government," Mr. Olson said, "and many of us are coming to the conclusion that you best represent that corruption and tyranny." For many Americans, it was jarring to listen to self-appointed defenders of the Constitution justify taking up arms in a paranoid vision of government overreach. But back in Michigan, they were used to it. Roughly a dozen to 18 armed groups are scattered across Michigan in mostly rural counties, their membership fluctuating with political and economic currents. Estimates of active members statewide are generally in the hundreds. Wow. The state's lenient gun laws, it is permissible to openly carry a firearm in public, also make it a welcoming place for other armed extremists. Members of the Proud Boys or Boogaloo movement routinely showed up at protests in Michigan last year and sometimes got into fights with Black Lives Matter activists. For many of the more traditional militias, however, socializing is often as much a priority as drilling. Firearms training is mixed with camping and family outings. Last fall, members of the Southeast Michigan Volunteer Militia gathered for a picnic in a park where children tossed beanbags, mothers grilled cheeseburgers, and AR-15 rifles leaned against lawn chairs. Some have websites where they sell t-shirts and carry ads for gun shops. But woven through Michigan's militia timeline is a persistent strand of menace. In the early 20th century, the Black Legion, a paramilitary group that included public officials in Detroit and elsewhere, began as an offshoot of the Ku Klux Klan and was linked to numerous acts of murder and terrorism. Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, who killed 168 people in the Oklahoma City bombing, were reported to have associated with militia members in Michigan, though Mr. Olson said they have been turned away because of their violent rhetoric. In the aftermath, militias were largely exiled to the fringes of conspiracy politics, preparing for imagined threats from the New World Order. But in recent years, as the Republican Party has drifted further to the right, these groups have gradually found a home there, said Joellen Vineyard, an emeritus professor of history at Eastern Michigan University who has studied political extremism. Much of their cooperation is centered on defending gun ownership, she said. I think there's a fair amount of sympathy in the Republican Party for these people there that wasn't there in the past, Dr. Vineyard said. It's a much closer relationship now. Wow. Okay. So this is a picture of Operation Gridlock jammed the roads around the State House in Lansing to protest the governor's stay-at-home order. So they jammed the roads to protest the order. So, but I thought that, wait a minute.
It seems to me a strange thing.
You know what's strange?
America, fuck yeah!
America, you told me that Black Lives Matter blocking up the roadways was not a good thing. That's what you told me, right? You told me Black Lives Matter blocking up roadways was a bad thing, and that I should condemn this. That Black Lives Matter was wrong because they blocking up roadways. Interesting. So, are these people wrong for blocking up roadways? This is called Operation Gridlock. That's what it was. They were blocking up the roadways to protest stay-at-home order. So, I thought blocking roadways was a bad thing. Is it a good or bad thing? I'm just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Is blocking roadways a good or bad thing? I'm asking for a friend. Is blocking roadways a good or bad thing? Asking for a friend. That friend might be me, of course, but I'm asking for a friend. Right? I'm asking for a friend. Is it good or bad to block roadways? Is it good or is it bad to block roadways? You told me Black Lives Matter blocking roadways is a bad thing. That's what you told me, right? So these people were blocking roadways through Operation Gridlock. So is blocking roadways a good or bad thing? I'm going to need somebody from the Blue Lives Matter crowd to answer that. Is blocking roadways a good or bad thing? I'm just asking out of curiosity. I mean, personally, I think it's a perfectly valid form of protest, personally. I have no problem with it. But some other people do. You know, personally, I say these are public roadways. I pay taxes on it, and so if a group of people wants to go in and block it up, I would find it highly inconvenient. But I wouldn't call it an invalid form of protesting. No, I wouldn't. So is blocking roadways a good or bad thing? Because I was told that when Black Lives Matter did, you know, it's a very, very strange thing.
It seems to me a strange thing.
It's a very strange thing. I was told that blocking roadways was a bad thing, and if you did it, you were a terrorist, you were a Black Lives Matter sympathizer, and you're an asshole. I was told that. I mean, let me go ahead and highlight this. Operation Gridlock jammed the roads around the State House in Lansing to protest the governor's stay-at-home order. Oh my God! You know, it just seems to me, you know.
It seems to me a strange thing.
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
I tell you what.
You're about to experience
I tell you what. You know, these filthy Black Lives Matter supporters, they're blocking up the goddamn roadways. I tell you what.
You're about to experience.
I tell you what. I tell you. I tell you what. You know,
It seems to me a strange thing.
it's a very strange thing. I was told throughout the entire goddamn summer that when Black Lives Matter was blocking up roads, that it was a bad thing. I was told that. I was told that. Isn't that what you heard? Did my ears deceive me? Did my ears listen? Did my ears deceive me? I tell you what. I tell you what. My ears do not deceive me. Black Lives Matter. When Black Lives Matter goes around, when no damn monkeys, when they go around causing trouble, I tell you what.
You're about to experience a nigga.
I tell you what. All right, we can block up roads because we're patriots. All right, I tell you what.
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
We are patriots. But hey, Mr. Patriot, while you're being a patriot, can I ask a question? If these people are blocking roadways just like Black Lives Matter, and if in both scenarios roadways are blocked, if the end conclusion is that roadways are blocked, what's the fucking difference?
It seems to me a strange thing.
What's the difference? I'm just asking. Listen. I'm asking for a friend, okay? Because you know,
It seems to me a strange thing.
it just seems a strange thing, man. You know, that these Trump supporters, they can block up the roads. These anti-maskers, they can block up roads. I was told during the summer that when you block up roads, you're stopping people from getting to work, you're stopping children from going to school, you're stopping all these things, right? You are blocking my free range of movement. And people in Florida supported laws, around the country supported laws where you could run over protesters. Well, these are protesters. Suppose I had a fucking monster truck. Suppose I had a big old Tucker truck. Suppose I was Optimus goddamn Prime. Could I just run them over? I mean, they are blocking the roads. So is it only when you're blocking the roads on foot, or is it when you're blocking the roads in your car? Which one counts? So is it only when Black Lives Matter does it? I'm asking for a friend, okay? Because you know,
It seems to me a strange thing.
you know, I tell you what,
You're about to experience a nigga
it just seems kind of weird. A COVID-19 revolt. If Michigan Republicans and militant groups had increasingly found themselves sharing the same ideological space, their common ground became literal last year. As an escalating series of events drew them together for protests and rallies, they began with objections to the governor's lockdown orders. Republicans have controlled both houses of the Michigan legislature for a decade and held the governor's mansion for the 8 years before Ms. Whitner took office in 2019. Mr. Trump's brash nationalism had alienated moderate Republicans and independents while pushing the party to the right.
It seems to me a strange thing.
That is real strange. By last April 1st, COVID-19 had killed more than 300 people in Michigan, primarily in Detroit, and Ms. Whitmer ordered all non-essential businesses closed. Ms. Maddox wasted no time rallying opposition, calling for a protest on April 15th. And this is her right here. I tell you what, you're not going to keep me alive. You're not going to keep me from spreading the virus.
You're about to experience
I tell you what. You're not going to stop me from breathing this infected air.
You're about to experience
I tell you what. A National Advisory Board member of the Women for Trump wing of the president's re-election campaign, she appeared often with Mr. Trump and his surrogates on their many visits to Michigan. Her husband, Matt Maddox, the owner of a bail bond business, who has boasted of personally apprehending bail jumpers, is a state lawmaker from a Detroit suburb. In the first major protest in the country against stay-at-home orders, thousands of cars, trucks, and even a few cement mixers jammed the streets around the State House in Lansing in what Ms. Maddox called Operation Gridlock. About 150 demonstrators left their vehicles to chant "Lock her up" from the Capitol lawn, redirecting the 2016 battle cry after Hillary Clinton Hillary Clinton against Ms. Whitmer. A few waved Confederate flags. About a dozen heavily armed members of the Michigan Liberty Militia turned up as well.
You're about to experience.
I'm not going to let you lock me down and keep me alive and keep me breathing.
You're about to experience.
Hey guys, can I point something out to you? If we just shut down things for a little while, maybe a couple months, we wouldn't be dealing with any of this.
Enough from the clown.
You just clowns. You know, Michon, first of all, you got a black name, so I guess I shouldn't be too hard on you. But Michon Maddox, you are a clown. You're not just a clown because you're dumb. You're a clown because you encourage other people to be dumb. So on behalf of all people out here who have family members who have gotten COVID, or people who have suffered because of COVID, because long-term effects, I want to give you one message. And they all want to tell you one unified message. They all want to tell you one thing, and they all want you to hear. They want to tell you,
enough from the clown.
Enough from you. You fucking clown. Miss Maddox declared Michigan a tyranny that night on the Fox News channel, though she later distanced herself from the armed men. Of course, the militia is disappointing to me. The Confederate flag, they're just idiots, she later told Bridge, Michigan, a non-profit news organization. Mr. Trump tweeted, "Liberate Michigan."
Enough from the clown.
Mr. Trump tweeted, "Liberate Michigan" 2 days later, and Miss Maddox's protest inspired a wave of others around the country.
Enough from the clown.
When local armed groups in Michigan began discussing more demonstrations, most Republicans shunned them at first. They were scared of the word militia, recalled Phil Robertson, a member of the Liberty Militia.
Enough from the clown.
You goddamn clowns. You idiots. You idiots. Just
enough from the clown.
Shut the hell up. Your actions and your encouragement thereof cause people to be harmed. Your actions and the encouragement of those actions is what caused people harm. It's what got people killed. But you don't care. You don't give a damn, do you? Because you're a goddamn clown. And like any clown and like any circus, you shouldn't be taken seriously, you should be laughed at. But the problem is that the Republican Party, they have had such a problem with the influx of whining, bitching people. Like the guy that I talked to yesterday, his name was Edward Tomlinson. He was a great guy. I'm not talking about people like that, right? I'm not talking about people like that. Good people. I'm talking about idiots, right? Who go out of their way, just to make life harder for other people. You fucking clowns.
Enough from the clown.
I mean, look at this clown. Look at how LARPy he wants to be. Look at me, guys. I'm Ryan Kelly, the lead organizer of the April 30 armed protest. Is now running for governor. Becoming too closely aligned with militias, is that a bad thing? He said in an interview.
You're about to experience a nigga.
I tell you what. Being too aligned with freaking militias, is that a bad thing?
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
Enough. Enough. Enough from the clown.
Shut the fuck up. You fucking clown. Yes, when you are running for governor, you don't want to be aligned with militias. Do you want to know why? Let me show you why. Let me show you why a governor should not be aligned with militias. Pitchfork, Tillman, militia. Let me show you what happens when a heavily right-wing governor takes in militias. See, this is a little bit of history about South Carolina. This is a guy, if you ever heard of the Tillman Act, where it took money out of politics, this is the guy behind it. Now, he did a good thing with the freaking Tillman Act, but he was a virulent fucking racist. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you and why you should never, ever have a governor, especially a right-wing governor, with fucking militias. Let me show you why. Let me give you a clear demonstration as to the reason why. This is Pitchfork Tillman. Benjamin Ryan Tillman, and again another Ryan, was an American politician of the Democratic Party who served as governor of South Carolina from 1890 to 1894, and as a United States Senator from 1895 until his death in 1918. A white supremacist who opposed civil rights for black Americans, Tillman led a paramilitary group of red shirts during South Carolina's violent 1876 election on the floor of the U.S. Senate. On the floor of the U.S. Senate, he defended lynching and frequently ridiculed black Americans in his speeches, boasting of having helped kill them during that campaign. Wow. And if you want to know why he was called Pitchfork, Tillman was known as Pitchfork Ben because of his aggressive language as when he threatened to use a pitchfork to prod that bag of beef President Grover Cleveland. So once again, when you have people, and once again, I'm going to give you some more about Tillman Act. The first federal campaign finance law banning corporate contributions is commonly called the Tillman Act. He just, once again, Pitchfork Tillman serves as a shining example as to why you don't have heavily right-wing government in politics and aligned with militias. Okay? Do you see a clear example why? I not just told you why it's stupid. I not only call it stupid, I gave you a historical example as to the reason why. Okay? Okay, Mr. Ryan Kelly? Do you get it now? But his group found eager promoters in Mr. Kelly, a real estate broker and Republican planning commissioner in a suburb of Grand Rapids, and Mr. Howland, a local sales consultant who had been posting online videos minimizing the pandemic. They called the stay-at-home orders, the stay-at-home restrictions, unconstitutional and formed the American Patriot Council to restore and sustain a constitutional government, Mr. Kelly said in an interview. As the legislature met on April 30th to vote on extending the governor's restriction, Mr. Kelly and his militia allies convened hundreds of protesters, including scores of armed men, some with assault weapons. One demonstrator hung a noose from the back of his pickup. Another held a sign warning that tyrants get the rope. Dozens entered the Capitol, some angrily demanding entrance to the lower chamber. We were harassed and intimidated so that we would not do our jobs, Sarah said. Representative Donna Lasinski, leader of the Democratic minority. Lawmakers were terrified, she added. You know, it's times like these where I say funny shit, or I'll say something, and it'll be true, right? But then you'll get people who argue with me up and down, just like with the whole election thing, right? You have people arguing against me up and down, telling me how wrong I was and how Donald Trump was going to win the election, and that I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and that I should stop pushing fake news. Fake news. I was fake news. That's what I was. I was fake news. And I was told that Joe Biden was not going to become president. And I remember I was saying the exact same thing about this Michigan protest, that it was fucking stupid. That while I agree with that gun rights should be restricted, and while I agree that the lockdown orders should have been accompanied with a large cash infusion from the government, this is not the way to go about it. And those people argue with me up and down. They call me all these names, right? Where are they now? Where are they now? Now that they are wrong. You see, do you see why I don't waste my time with some people? I just block them, or just make it where they can't comment. Do you see why I do it now? Because those people are inherently dishonest, right? They're never around when they're fucking wrong. They're always around, right, when it's time to argue. But when it's time for them to address me, actually say something, right, actually confront me, they're never around. They're never present. You never hear a goddamn thing from them. They shut the fuck up all of a sudden. All of a sudden, they shut the fuck up. You couldn't get them to shut the fuck up any other time, right? But now all of a sudden, they shut the fuck up. And let me go ahead and tell you, that's why I don't like. That's that shit I don't like. So that's why I say, no. If you're going to disagree with me, you either call in, and that's fine. Don't agree with me. But I'm actually call in. And what I'm not going to allow people to do is hide. No, you're not hiding anymore. You're going to be honest. Yes, you will. You're going to be honest. I'm going to make you be honest. I'm going to make you do it. Now, I understand that for some people, this may be hard to hear. You may not like what I have to say, but I must stress that I mean every word of it. I must stress that I mean every word of it. I am not going to allow people to just do that again. No. If you make claims, back it the fuck up. Where's all these people now? You hear nothing from them. All of a sudden, Cat got the goddamn tongue. All of a sudden, you can't find these motherfuckers with a goddamn GPS. Just demoralized. When things didn't have to be that way. And now they sat there and they got my blood pressure up. They got their own blood pressure up. And we sitting here fighting when we could have been focusing on trying to go after Joe Biden. But we didn't do that. What did we spend our time arguing about instead? Militia groups, Proud Boys, cow goddamn Rittenhouse, police violence that people should have just admitted to. That's where we spent most of our energy at. Because some people just can't be honest. Some people refuse to accept that sometimes when certain people are complaining, it's not just to just piss you off. It's just to try to point out a legitimate problem. You know, that's the reason why I do a lot of what I do, to point out a legitimate problem. But let's move on. Let's go to our face cam real quick. Have a little comments for you guys. Now that was the first story that we covered. I'm going to clip that and make it to a separate video. So if you missed any part of that, don't worry. I'm going to upload it on tomorrow. You'll be able to have that. I'm going to go over a few more news stories. But before we do, 420, smoke them if you got them. 420, smoke them if you got them. Because I got them. Tonight's strain is going to be Tangy. Tangy, isn't it beautiful? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she? I don't know how the rest of that song goes, but I like the one part. Toby D. Tobias, how you doing in the chat? Toby, how you doing, my man? My man, Toby D. Tobias. Everyone say hello to Toby D. Tobias in the chat. I appreciate you joining me tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but decided to be with me tonight. We already covered a story about what's happening in Michigan, the militia groups. Toby, is there any particular news story that you've heard of that you want me to cover? Give me a take on it. I'll give you first dibs on that. We're going to go over a quick news story. We're going to go over to newsmax.com. All right. Power play. Biden to fire Trump U.S. attorneys. That means I know one U.S. attorney, without even looking at the story, I know one that's going to be fired. That's Peter McCoy. He's from South Carolina. I'm so happy. I hate fucking Peter McCoy. Good job, Joe Biden. Fire their ass. Fuck Peter McCoy. He's a piece of shit. Yes, I'm so happy that Biden's going to do this. I hate Joe Biden, but that's a good move. Fire all the U.S. attorneys. They're all corrupt. They all ain't shit. Fire all of them. All of them, baby. Every last one, baby. Get them all. Good stuff. Let's get back to the news story. Power play. Biden to fire Trump U.S. attorneys by Newsmax.com. Published on Monday, February 8th. The Justice Department is expected to ask a host of U.S. attorneys appointed by President Donald Trump to tender their resignations, CNN reported Monday. Oh my God! Whoo! So they're not, saying you're fired. They're just saying, hey, just quit. Seriously, just quit. The request came as soon as Tuesday, the cable news network said. It also noted that the turnover was expected to omit top prosecutors in Connecticut and Delaware. They happen to be overseeing delicate, politically fraught investigations dating back to the Trump administration, a senior justice official told CNN. On Monday night, Acting Attorney General Monty Wilkinson called to ask Delaware's U.S. Attorney David Weiss to remain. He happens to be at the helm of the tax probe of Hunter Biden, who was President Joe Biden's son, whose troubles were an issue in the recent presidential election. John Durham, tapped by Trump-era Attorney General Bill Barr to investigate the origins of the Trump-Russia probe that led to Trump's first impeachment, will also continue his work, CNN said. However, it's anticipated that Durham will exit as U.S. Attorney in Connecticut, the justice official is reporting as saying. The resignation the resignation request, I should say, is expected to apply to 56 U.S. attorneys tapped by Trump and confirmed by the Senate, all told. CNN said officials have set a call with U.S. attorneys around the country to discuss the transition period. Unknown is precisely when the resignations would go into effect or how long the transitional period will go. As the network reported, such a changeover is not uncommon, but can be politically touchy. In 2017, Trump Attorney General Jeff Sessions asked 46 Obama-appointed U.S. attorneys to take their leave. So again, you can't say nothing. Again, you can't say nothing. That's America. America! Fuck yeah. How's shit going? America. Oh, it goes well, man. It goes well, my man. How you doing, Commander Brutus? Hey, Commander, drop your link to your chat in the chat. In fact, I want to look you up, man. I want to support you, man. I want to support you always. Always support you, man. This guy, he was originally the Wrench Gang Collective, right? This guy's now the Commander Brutus, man. This dude has been looking out for my channel, looking out for me. He's also been a big homie, yo. Big homie. Big homie. He's been a big homie. I appreciate everything that you've been doing. But right now we're covering the fact that Biden is going to fire every Trump-era U.S. attorney, including one that I know of, which is Peter McCoy. All right. Biden is going to fire every U.S. attorney that was appointed by Trump. Oh my God. Isn't that spicy? Isn't that spicy? America's a shit show. Yeah, definitely. 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 Without question. Without question. Hey, make sure you drop a link down in your chat, man. Make sure. Make sure. I want a link to your channel down in the chat immediately. Immediately. You got a falling out with Ewoks unhinged. Okay. All right. Toby did the bias. I don't really have a story. All right, but Commander Bruce, hey, tell you what, man. If you ever want to join up with me, man, let me know, bro. If you ever want to join up with me, let me know, bro. Just say the word, man. Say the word, homie. And it's freaking done. Say the word, homie. Say the word. Seriously. So once again, power play. Biden to fire Trump U.S. attorneys. So once again, Trump right now, basically Biden is going to just snap him. Biden's going to snap everything. He's about to snap all his U.S. attorneys. The only ones that's going to remain, right, it's just two, right? And it's one named John Durham, who is General Bill Barr. You know, he was tapped by Bill Barr to look into the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. And after this, he's expected to just pretty much leave, right? And also David Weiss in Delaware, he's at the helm of the Hunter Biden probe. But after that, you know, he's out of there. He's out of there. And you can't really say anything because, as it says here, right? In 2017, Trump Attorney General Jeff Sessions asked 46 Obama-appointed U.S. attorneys to take their leave, right? So, once again, Trump did the exact same thing to Obama-era appointees. All right. So we have a link to Commander Bruce's channel in the chat, guys, in the YouTube chat. I'm going to post it also in the Twitch chat because, again, I want you to grow, man. I want you to grow. Yes, Florida man stories. Yes. I am if you have if you have some links to some of those stories, I would definitely love to see them. Florida man stories are stories that I love to cover. So once again, I'm gonna make sure I post this in the chat. Post your link to your channel. I'm gonna pin that comment up there. Replace pin message, and I'm going to post it in Twitch as well because I want you to grow, man. You are the homie, man. You the homie. But as you can see, man, this is pretty interesting. And also he says in the chat here, he's glad that Bessie DeVos is playing is basically leaving Commander Brutus. Yeah, I'm glad too because Bessie DeVos as the Secretary of Education, it was a goddamn joke. You have somebody who's fucking stupid at the top position for education for the fucking federal government. That was insane, right? But here's another part here. Last part of the article. It says there is of course some evidence of a Biden administration distrust towards Trump appointees. His White House, for instance, named a career Justice Department official acting Attorney General while it waits for the Senate to confirm Merrick Garland, the president's nominee. Another who may stay on for a while under Biden, said the news network, Michael Sherwin, acting U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., who is overseeing the probe of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Wow. That is insane. So let's look up Florida man. Is there a special website for this? Because I would love to know this special website because I want to cover it. I'm gonna look up Florida man stories. Let's look up Florida man stories. Let's go ahead and look it up. Oh my God! Wow. So the streaker and Super Bowl is a 31-year-old Florida man. We're gonna cover that story. Oh my God! I tell you what.
You're about to
I'll tell
experience
you
a
what.
nigga moment.
I tell you what.
You're
I'll
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga
I'm
moment.
gonna run across that field with my ass out. I tell you what.
You're
I'll
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga moment.
You know, I tell you what. Don't you tell me what to do. I tell you what.
You're
I'll
about to
tell
experience
you
a
what.
nigga moment.
America. America. Good God. Good God Almighty. You know, it's times like these, right? It's times like these that, you know, I was told before I came home from combat that I would be upset, that I would find that the general American public upsets me, and that they would do stupid shit that would make me want to smack the shit out of them. And you know, I didn't believe that first. I thought that he was just being hyperbolic. But then I learned that the Florida man exists. Streaker at Super Bowl in Tampa, identified as 31-year-old Florida man. Wow. It had to be a Florida man. It just had to be a fucking Florida man. Again, I'm not shocked by this because it's a Florida man. Let's just be honest. It's a Florida man, and Florida man's gonna do what Florida man's does. So let's have a listen to this video.
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga moment. You're
I'll
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga moment.
I tell you what. I'll tell you what.
You're
I'll
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga moment.
Florida man. Tampa, WFLA. The man who charged the field in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl Sunday has been identified as a 31-year-old Florida man. Yuri Andrade was charged Sunday night with trespassing after streaking across the field in Raymond James Stadium in a pink leotard. With more security closing in, he wisely slid at the 3-yard line. But he wasn't afforded the same protection as NFL quarterbacks. Guards piled on top of him as he hit the grass, tied his hands, and escorted him into a nearby tunnel. He got another ovation as he exited the stadium. The Hillsborough County arrest database shows Andrade posted a $500 cash bond and was released Monday just before 8 a.m. Andrade is from Boca Raton, Florida. According to reports, Andrade was planted there by social media personality Vitaly Zedarovsky, I want to say, who has pulled this prank before. Zedarovsky runs the website Vitaly Uncensored, which was written on front of Andrade's pink swimsuit. Vitaly Uncensored is an adult website. Zedarovsky has more than 620,000 Twitter followers. He's been tweeting about the event over the last few hours, including retweeting a message that his streaker got more yards than the Chiefs. Zedarovsky has done previous stunts at the World Series and NBA Finals. This is just crazy.
You're
I'll
about to
tell you
experience
what.
a nigga moment.
Wow. Just wow. Yeah. Florida.